Hello and welcome back, guys. This is Mohammed Arsalan and you're watching my channel MArcSiddiqui, and we are going to continue our lectures on C language. So in the previous lecture we have learned that what is C language and what are the data types of C language. So in today's class, in the lecture number 4, we are going to continue and we are going to learn that what are keywords and what are the identifiers in C language. So what is a character set? Before we understand identifier or keyword, we should understand that what are the character sets and what kind of characters are supported in C language. A character set is a set of alphabets, letters and some special characters that are valid in C language. Alphabets, if we are talking about alphabets, so we are definitely going to use English alphabets, and they are obviously 26 alphabets and including capital and small characters. So these kind of alphabets are supported in C language. You can use them to write any message or something like. Then talking about the digits, starting from 0 to 9 and holding up the positive and negative values, both kind of digits are supported by C language. And then let's come the special characters. The special characters are called which are not in English 26 alphabets, and they can be used to perform many operations like multiplication for asterisk and addition, subtraction, division and so on. And then you can use the square brackets, curly brackets and greater than, lesser than symbols as well. Then comes the white spaces. White space means if you are adding a space between the first name and last name, it can be used by blank space, or new line is also a kind of a space. Horizontal tab, carriage, return and form feed are the spaces which are called white spaces. Like they are not being written, they are not shown, but they are holding some space. And then keywords. Keywords are predefined reserved words used in programming that have a special meaning to the compiler. Like if you are using any compilers, and every language has some keywords, these keywords are defined for some specific operations, for some specific information, and they have a very high role in any language. Keywords are part of the syntax and they can never be used as identifier. They can never be used by on your desires. Like if a word is integer, so it will be used as it is defined in the in the language, in any language. So it is not going to be used according to your thoughts or your thinking. As C is a case sensitive language, then all keyword must be written in lowercase. You cannot write any keyword in capital. So here's a list of some keywords which you can use, and the keywords are those that like auto, double, integer, struct, break, else, long. So it's case. These keywords you can use in anywhere in C language when you are working. When we will be recording some lectures, we will be learning something, then we will definitely be using the basic keywords, like you can say integer, double, case, switch case, else if, and if else, continue, break. So we are going to have a practical of these all keywords, but not all in detail. We are going to have some introduction of some keywords. We are going to use some keywords in high like with high demands, because they are most needed. They are going to be used in every code, in every lecture. Every algorithm is full of such keywords. So these keywords should be known that no keyword is written in capital. Every keyword is going to be written in single, in small characters. And then we have some identifier. Identifier refers to name given to entity such as a variable. Like if you have any entity, so you can name it. If you have a variable, you can name it. If you have a function, you can name it. So they are called the identifiers. Identifier must be unique. They cannot be repeat. They are created to give a unique name to an entity to identify it during the execution of the program. When if you have written a code of 100 lines, and then you are going to use like a one word name, so the name should be unique. Name cannot be used like in 2, 3, 4 places. It should be identified once. Okay, and the value can be changed in the variable in the identifier, but there must be a unique identifier. There cannot be multiple identifier with the same name, so it's not allowed in C language. Also remember, identifier names must be different from keywords. The keywords cannot be used identifier. Like if you have an integer keyword, then you cannot use it like identifier. You cannot use integer, as I have given you the example. And here is an example of writing a code for keyword. If you are writing integer, so it's a keyword, and the word which you have written after the key integer, like money, so it's going to be your identifier. You can change it, but you cannot change integer. You cannot write INTT for integer. You cannot write capital INT for integer. Integer is going to be small and in 3 characters, INT, that's it. This is keyword. Keyword cannot be changed, keyword cannot be modified, keyword's functionality cannot be modified. But for the money, it's upon you. You can write as you want, but they should be unique. You cannot use money again as a keyword in anywhere in the C language code. Then rules for naming identifier. A valid identifier can have letters, both uppercase and lowercase, it doesn't matter. A keyword cannot have uppercase letters. Keyword hold only lowercase letters, but in the identifier can have both uppercase and lowercase letters, and digits and underscores can also come. If you notice, then, and in the keywords, you had no digit, you had no underscore, you had no special character, only lowercase characters were used in keywords. But in identifier, there is no such restriction. You can use anything except special characters. The first letter of an identifier should be either a letter or an underscore. Like, you cannot start your identifier by 1, 2, 3 name. You cannot use any numeric value in an identifier in the beginning. You can write name 1, but you cannot write one name. Then no special character can be used in variable except underscore. Only underscore is the special character which you can use, but you cannot use any special character like greater than symbol, percentage symbol. You cannot use them in your identifier. You cannot use keywords as identifier. We have learned already this. There is no rule on how long an identifier can be. There is no limit of an identifier characters. However, you may run into problem in some compilers if the identifier is longer than 31. So my advice is just to keep your identifier little bit small per meaning, but with meaningful name. Identifiers should be meaningful, that so that you, if you're going to alter your code, so you can understand that why did you make that identifier, why did you use that identifier. So they should be meaningful, but not so long that they are giving whole description. It should be like a name, student name, std name, but it should not like this, that this is the name of a student. So long identifiers are not suitable, and they can make you a problem as well. You can choose any name as an identifier if you follow the above rules. However, give meaningful name to the identifier that makes sense. Unmeaningful names are really bad thing. It's a really bad practice. If you are going to modify your code after some years, so you should understand that why did you make that identifier, so it will be easy for you to modify your program. But if you cannot understand, if you cannot find that why did you make that identifier, so it's going to be a really complicated job for you. So that's it from me today. Thank you very much. If you have any query, if you need anything, if you don't understand anything, then you can ask me, you can contact me, feel free to ask me. So that's it. Thank you. Goodbye. Have a good day. Good night.